So percentage change is when an amount is increased or decreased by a certain percentage. So we can increase an amount or decrease an amount. Now, for both ways, there are two methods. We've got a method A and method B. Method A is a little bit more laborious, takes a little bit longer, one more calculation. Method B is simpler, but you have to understand what's happening with the percentages to do that one. So let's assume then our question is that we have got to increase 370 by 15%. Okay. So the type of question that this might come up in is a money type question. It might say something like an ice cream machine was $370 and then someone sold it on for a 15% profit. What was the price that they sold it for? Okay. And I say ice cream maker because I bought one yesterday. It's very exciting. Okay, so two different ways you can do it. First thing, you can find 15% of 370. And we all know how to find a percentage of an amount. You do the 15 divided by 100 multiplied by the quantity, or change the percentage into a decimal and multiply the decimal by the quantity, which is exactly the same as dividing the percentage by 100 and multiplying it. So 15% of 370, and then you can have that answer added on to the 370. So what is 15% of 370? So you should have your calculators out. So 0.15 multiplied by 370?
55.5.
55.5, okay, so our answer is 55.5, and if we add that to 370, our answer is 425.5, okay. Now method B uses the percentage. What it does is it assumes that 370 is 100%. And then as we've got to increase that 100% by 15%, if we find 115% of the original, we'll get the new answer. So method B is that you would find 115%, so the original 100% plus the percentage increase, okay, of the amount, so of 370. Obviously you're going to get the same answer because you're not going to get a different answer. But how would you find 115% of 370?
You would either put the percentage to a decimal or divide it by 100 and then you would
Yeah.
times it by 370.
So it could be 1.15 multiplied by 370, which has got to give us 425.5, that's right, 425.5. So either way will get you the right answer. This one has one more calculation in it. You're finding 15% and then adding it. Here, you're just finding the 115%. Okay? Either way is acceptable, but you need to show you're working. Okay, we all good? Can I rub that one off then? Okay. So for instance, if you're increasing by 37%, you can find 37% of the original amount and add it onto the original amount, or you could find 137% of the original amount. Say you've got to increase it by 60%. You could find 60% of the original amount and add it to the original amount, or find 160% of it, that's right. Now, let's have this question. We're going to decrease $650 by 17%. Okay. So this is a classic kind of something's on sale type question. So, you know, the jet ski was $650. In the sale, it's marked as having a 17% discount. Okay, you know the word discount, don't you? So if you see discount, it means you're decreasing, and it helps that they both begin with D. So method A would be that you would find 17% of 650, and then you would do 650 subtract that answer. So what is 17% of 650?
110.5.
$110.50. Yeah, the one thing to always remember here, of course, is if we're dealing with money, always has to have 2 decimal places. So what's our answer? What is 650 decreased by 17%? Yeah.
But 706.
No, you're we're decreasing. Megan? 539.5. But what have I just said if we're dealing with money? You must add the zero. It's a very common error. Very common error. And if it's money we're dealing with, it will actually be marked wrong. Okay? So method B. Now, imagine that the $650 here, the $650 is 100%. Okay? And what we're going to do is we've got to decrease it by 17%. So we've got to take away 17%. Okay? Please, no comments about whether the 17% looks like it might be 17% or not. We're just drawing a picture. Okay. So if we take away, if that's 100% and we're taking away the 17%, what percentage are we left with? 83. So we're left with 83% of the original amount, which is 650. So for method B, what we would do is you find 83% of $650. How do you find 83%? Divide it by 100, 0.83 times 650. And lo and behold, by the magic of maths, it is $539.50. Yeah. So again, this one has the advantage of just one calculation. Assuming, of course, you did this bit in your head, because this is a calculation as well. You are working out what percentage is left, but it's easier, isn't it? Then taking 17 away from 100 is easier than doing 650 take away 110.50. Okay. So, right, okay, can we stop that then?